Hey, it's Michael Robbins, everybody, and we've been tracking the developments of the market during the coronavirus pandemic. And, it's been an interesting ride around here. A lot of the news sources talking about the market being overvalued and getting crazy, and a pretty substantial correction in the past week. So we come over to Yahoo. We can see futures are up for tomorrow, but there's a couple like infographics that looked interesting. States with the highest unemployment rates. Yeah, interesting to see New York and California there because we'll see later some criticism of those states. But we'll have a quick look at retail bankruptcies. Here we go. Rage on. And yeah, let me have a look over at the S&P or the Dow, because Nasdaq was going really crazy and hitting new record highs, but the S&P and the Dow haven't been quite as bullish. It does look like it hit a new peak, though. The S&P right there, and is also given up a fair bit. Fascinating. So over on Seeking Alpha, this seemed like to be the most interesting article and pertinent to this whole thing. Of course, the trending analysis may have changed since I last refreshed. Yeah, not too much there. So let's have a quick look. It's a really interesting piece because it's talking about how low rates do not drive higher PE multiples. As if the writer is arguing against a commonly held belief, saying it's false. And some interesting charts here. S&P and yields, S&P and earnings. What's this here? PE and long-term EPS growth expectations. Oh, this is apropos. Yeah, I've been looking at a lot of forward PEs lately, and the PEG ratio is not so much of a forward PE, but it takes the PE divided by the growth to put PE in context of the growth, right? So PE over long-term growth ratio. Yeah, this does seem to make a strong art. Oh my gosh, look at that. It goes back to, is that 85? 85. Wow. As strong as a point that this makes, it could also be false due to the fact that we're in this odd COVID situation where some others make very strong arguments about things being on the up and up. So here's this guy, Art Laffer, former advisor to Reagan, He's saying that we don't need any more stimulus, and we got to get the restrictions lifted, and that the states like Texas, that were Florida, that were relaxing early, are doing really, really well.
I'm a Verizon engineer, and I'm part of the team building a powerful 5G experience for America.
It's 5G ultra wideband, and it's already available in parts of select cities,
like Los Angeles
and in New York City.
Okay, so there actually was a clip I was about to play, but it's not playing nice. So it was basically the Art Laffer guy saying that places like New York and California are holding things back. Having a look over, so I'm not sure I looked at this one. CNBC, uber bullish tech investor won't make big moves until NASDAQ corrects by 20%. Yeah.
You could think getting commission-free trades is as good as it gets, but
we'll just leave it there. And why don't we come back to NASDAQ and see what sort of correction we've had so far. So let's give it 3 years. All right. So we got up to 11,700. And oh yeah, it's only come down about 800. Yeah, for him to get the 20%, gosh, yeah, 2,100 points, somewhere under 10,000. All right, so we looked at Seeking Alpha. Gosh, I don't think I looked at BBC either. Usually not a great deal about the markets. Yeah, just data. Okay, and I think this is really good to get some snapshots of this, because the modeling, the projections are going to change, right? So it's good to have a snapshot of this. So this is the U.S., and what I thought was interesting was when I was looking at Washington, my home state, it was having this gray peak get at least twice as high as this first wave here. And it didn't make a lot of sense to me. This makes sense. If you look at it on a national basis, and it's saying if everybody wore a mask, it would be down at the lower line. If everything was easing, it would be up there. And the projection is this middle line. And so what I think is that the government and society is kind of already demonstrated a reactivity or a sensitivity to the pandemic, to take the necessary action that caused it to hit a peak here. So we're kind of seeing the same scenario play out in their projection here, that once we start hitting that same trajectory, maybe, it looks like it lets it go a little bit higher here. What is that? 3,000 daily deaths. Whereas in this peak nationally, we hit 2,300 daily deaths. So what I read into this study is that they expect us to be a little a little more liberal in our activities and to hit a higher peak. Be very interesting to see what these projections will look like, um, in November or December. So that's it for today. We'll see how people look back when hindsight is 20.